Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the cash cows for round 9. This is probably, just from what I'm seeing with the trend of cash cows, probably going to be one of the last cash cows videos, to be honest with you, as they really are only I would admit, probably only 4 options this week for cash cows. Just looking at the list quickly here, realistic cash cows, as we'll go through them, so it's probably going to be about a 10-minute video here, and I actually am recording this in light, so this is that's me adjusting my screen brightness, and you can see how much little effect it has comparative to other weeks. So I'm recording this in the light, which is going to help those watching on YouTube. But yeah, this is a really poor week. We have pretty much all just small forwards at the moment, 1 midfielder and 1 defender. So we have a couple of small forwards, a midfielder and a defender, and then the rest of them down here are, I guess, a couple of keys and a lot of guys that aren't actually going to play, that sort of stick with their slowly retreating break even back to the positive side, I guess. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So scrolling back up to the top here, you have Peatling at 444, the quadruple Nelson, and you're probably looking at this Peatling going, okay, maybe, just maybe, 444k as a forward, not too bad, especially with those 2 games here. But the worry is Cogs is slated to return. Tom Green is slated to have a fitness test. So if that happens, I just genuinely think his role can deplete in the matter of a week. And I just don't think that you really want that. I think you're more looking towards someone, can they have sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks or something like that? Whereas Peatling could easily return back to the sub role. And I'm going to sort of AFL lineups. I'm going to try and prove this to you. If we go here to their last lineup against the Swans, had Peatling in here. And it had Callum Ward on the bench, and it also had Josh Kelly in the midfield. They have so GWS have Cornelio out, had Cornelio out. They also had, let me actually just check their injury list. GWS, let's actually check, because there would be a couple guys out, because he would not be in the midfield for their teams. Can we do injury list maybe? Where's their injury list? Let me, latest, podcast, no, matches, teams, club. Let's just do this. GWS injury list. There we go. Found it. Rehab report round 9. So the latest. So you had Isaac Cumming go down with an injury. This is as of 22 hours ago. So Isaac Cumming went down in the VFL, so he's still out. Stephen Cornelio expected to be available, and also Tom Green expected to be available as well, and Adam Kennedy still out with another couple of weeks with or TBC with a hamstring injury. So if I'm looking at that and I'm looking at this, and I just think that Peatling role is basically Cogs is going to go in there, and Peatling could easily almost be out of the side in general, just looking at this, thinking about it. Because are they going to get rid of Jake? They're not going to get rid of Ward. I don't think will become the sub. They have Harvey Thomas as the sub. I think Peatling can go straight back into that sub role, just looking at this, and thinking they're not probably going to drop Darcy Jones. They're not going to drop Callum Ward. They're not going to drop Harry Himmelberg. They're not going to drop Riccardi. The only thing that saves him is that they do have Callum Brown out for 3 games. I reckon he just returns as a key, as a sort of forward, and I just want to check his sort of height, because this may, James Peatling height, so he's 184, so he's not a key, 186, sorry, at the moment, 186 midfielder. I think he just returns back to a sort of half forward that we've been seeing from him in the past here, if we look at his DFS numbers. So 1 second here, let me bring this up. I probably should have brought this up earlier, but this is sort of what I've always viewed Peatling as, is a half forward here, and never really on ball. If we look at his numbers here, you'll see 31% this year, and now not really previous. I think he just returns, and that's on ball has just happened in the last couple of weeks, And I think that if we just check here, that coincides with the likes of Cogs being out, and also Green being out as well didn't help. That's the North Melbourne one. We want GWS. Here we go as well. I think this will coincide with what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, Cornelio out, and then all of a sudden, Peatling, I mean, he had 2026, but that was with Callum Ward out. He's only ever played midfield with one of the midfielders out. So I think that is almost an indication of where they see Peatling at the moment. I could see Peatling migrating into the Callum Ward fourth midfielder when they get the numbers back, like when they have Kelly, Green and Cornelio there as the big three, and then they have Toby Green and Ward as Toby Green and Peatling as that fourth and fifth midfield option. But you can just see, I think they just tried to cover that Green 11% here with Peatling and also the likes of Toby Green. So I just don't think that he's actually going to get the numbers that you want out of him necessarily. And I think with both the return of Tom Green and also, Tom Green playing a full game hopefully, and Stephen Cornelio, it's one that I would stay clear of, as I just think we saw this with Caldwell, and Caldwell's role is sort of flipping, and I still think Caldwell probably is a better option. Is still a decent enough option. But we've seen this with guys that go off on 3-week tears and then their role just evaporates. I would say the same with Peatling is what's going to happen here. So I would be sticking clear of him. Darcy Jones, I think he is still a good trade in at 281k, a -8 break even. I think he is cemented in that side, to be honest with you. He survived the Toby Green coming back in, so I think he's pretty good in that side, and I don't really see anyone coming back. O'Halloran was in the 2s, and I don't know if he had necessarily the greatest game. Let me actually just double check this for you. I don't think he had an outstanding game, but I will double check that. Here we go. I think it was Haynes that had the really good game for GWS. O'Halloran, 1 goal to 24 touches. That's a pretty good game, actually, now thinking about it. But I still think that Darcy Jones survives that, to be honest. He's looked like a live wire in his 2 games and has 3 goals too. And I just think he survives. So I think he's still a good option. Even though they're 3 weeks out from their bye, maybe he maxes out at his bye. But I don't think that'll be necessarily the case. I think he's still going to be, I think he can make 100k by his bye. What's that? 85, that's 115k. They think he's going to be roughly 400k by just going 50. So yeah, I think that's a fair conclusion there. And 400k by his buy is actually a fair sort of what he's going to reach. So I think he still is one of the number 1 rookie target. But then again, you could also say the same about Lockie Sullivan, which we'll get to in a minute. Cal Shadir, just heard confirmation, I believe, from a Hawks fan / news reporter that Cal Shadir should be in this week still, as Marbiel Chol and also Mitch Lewis are missing again with injury, I believe. So yeah, I would be not really jumping on Cal Shadir, but as he is sort of a key, I believe. Cal Shadir, I just need to check his height again, but I'm pretty sure he's a key forward. Cal Shadir, let me just check this. Cal Shadir, he is, 1 second, he's 195, so yeah, he's the definition of a key forward. And yeah, I wouldn't be probably jumping on him because he did kick two goals, 1 to get to the 67, and we've seen what Zane Dersma does, and Zane Dersma probably is a little bit more of a chance to actually score well. Better than the likes of a Cal Shadir. So I would be sticking away from Cal Shadir, as he did land 4 tackles as a key forward, which is 4 tackles and 2 goals, which I don't think will happen regularly. So if my first option would be Darcy Jones, to be honest. In a good side that scores heavily, I think a small forward can score 60s. Biggie, I don't think he gets games, to be honest with you, and he's already 344k, so I'd be sticking clear of that. Woe Whedon, we've seen, did score a 49, which is all right, but I think he's sort of that 60 guy, that sort of Blake Howard sort of level. That's 50 to 60. We'll have a couple of spikes, 70s and 80s, but I think that is sort of the range that he'll go, and that's why I would probably at 288k, I'd be staying clear of him. But if you already have Jones and somehow already have O'Sullivan, and probably Bruce Revel at this point, then I'd be going for Woe Whedon. Lockie Sullivan, I keep on calling him O'Sullivan. I think he's almost the best target this week. 225k. I think that he could easily be a guy that goes and scores really well against West Coast, to the point that I might even be changing my trade plans just to accommodate him as 225k midfielder for the next, in my belief, 2 to 3 weeks. He could easily really pump up the scores, as he's got West Coast, Adelaide, and Freo. So I'll just need to look into that deeply about who do I want to chuck to get him up, etc. As it may come to getting him as well as a Luke Ryan or something like that from an Elliot Yeo, and then deciding to go sort of down the path of double upgrade next week. Bruce Revel, he was pretty good, and 52 on debut, did take 4 marks, 0 tackles, so was involved in the uncontested brand of Brisbane, but now with confirmation of both McCarthy and also Gardner doing their ACLs, as well as Ainsworth being out concussed, and someone else got injured in that game, didn't they? Someone else got injured, I swear. Starcevic in the warm-up doing his calf. I think Bruce probably keeps his spot, to be honest. There's just so much calamity at the Lions. I don't think he can go back into the twos, to be honest with you. I don't see how they find 4 other guys to come in over Bruce Revel. So yeah, I would think that he gets some good game time now. But as a mid forward, as sort of that small forward on Brisbane, who aren't really clicking at the moment, maybe he's sort of the 3rd or 4th guy behind Lockie Sullivan, even Lockie Sullivan, probably Darcy Jones. Then I'd probably go Bruce Revel, and then probably Cal Shadir, and then probably Woe Whedon, I'd say. Charlie Dean, I don't think he gets a game anytime soon. Toby Conway, it's 384k, no thank you. Patrick Voss, I think now with Jai Amos back, I don't think he gets a game, and he's key forward, so as I've been reliably informed, so don't think he's going to score that well, given that we have a key forward here, Cal Shadir, who I think has better job security than Patrick Voss, and he's got a better break even. McMullen doesn't get a game. Manor doesn't get a game. Sam Day probably doesn't get a game, as he was only playing the 1 game, and I think someone was out, and that's why he played. Lafau, I think his job is done basically as a cash generator. Jordan Sweets, 500k, so he's jumping up quickly. A 12 break even, so yeah, he's still got, with 70s, that's another 63. That's another 112k in the next sort of 3 weeks for Jordan Sweet. He could be 650 or so by the buys very easily. So yeah, I'd look at that, and I'm looking at that and wondering if he can do that. But if he can go a big score against potentially Geelong or something like that, get like a 120 or something like that, pull something out of the hat, then that'll get him towards that 700k and almost be an easier upgrade to English when we do need that. Williams, Young, McAuliffe, I don't think it's a game. Neil, Windsor is done with basically the needs that we want and can just be offloaded at this point. As a winger, he is going to have some games where he scores well, but some games that he doesn't. And this is why Windsor was sort of what I thought Darcy Wilson would be. And you can see it sort of here. This inconsistent, pops up for a big game here, has a couple of 60s as well. So that's what I thought what Darcy Wilson would be, but Windsor's just encapsulated that, and I forgot to factor in the fact that St Kilda do kick it around the back line quite a lot and get a lot of uncontested marks. Mullen doesn't seem to be getting a game. McKercher, 539k, could you jump on him? I don't think you can necessarily jump on him, to be honest. A 109 and a 99, and this is sort of it's a big call at this point. Gold Coast in the wet though. Well, not really wet, but dewy conditions. Can he score that well? I don't know. So, and he did it without marks though, so maybe he can actually score well. I will have to look into it when I do my sort of trades on Wednesday. I'll look into stuff, but McKercher could be one to look into. But at this point, I don't think he's really classified as a cash generator, and that pretty much gets us up to all of the cash cows basically done. I'm surprised I went for 14 minutes, but I did go through a couple of the top end guys. But yeah, if I was to bring in one guy this week, it would be a Lockie Sullivan. I keep on saying O'Sullivan, man. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, going through the cash cows for round 9. I hope you guys sort of understood the reason behind a lot of these guys. A lot of the guys I'm trying to focus in on, not necessarily the break even, but more so the the role that they have. So I would say Sullivan, given the opposition and the role that he's got and the relative job security that he's got for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say he stays. And then I'd say Darcy Jones is the next rookie one, just because of the inflated price of 56k between them. And then I'd say Bruce Revel, Boy Weed, and then Kalshadir would be my top 5. Is that now thinking about it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's my top 5 for this week. And I guess I'll see you guys in the trade targets video that will be recorded after this, and see you guys in that video. Bye, guys.